The scenic shores of Trinidad are not only a treasure to locals and tourists, but also the preferred nesting grounds for the world's largest sea turtles, the leatherback. Life for this amazing creature is not an easy journey. However, some environmental heroes in Trinidad have been working day and night to give these brave turtles a chance for survival.
My name is Len Peters. We are a community-based conservation organization specializing in sea turtle management, located right here in the rural community of Grande on the northeast coast of Trinidad. What people don't know is that there are only 7 sea turtle species in all the oceans of the world. One of those 7 is the ancient leatherback, the largest of all sea turtle species, exceeding 2,000 pounds in body weight when fully grown. That species comes into our coastal waters annually between March to September for the single purpose of laying the eggs that is only the female of the species. We have 2 resident species who are found in our waters year-round, greens and hawksbirds. Those are classified as hard shells. They nest during that same period, March to September, so they nest amidst the leatherbacks. In the case of Grand Riviere, because it is high density, you have hundreds of leatherbacks nesting, 300 to 400, 500 in one night. You may just have 1 hawksbill or 1 green. So we have to manage the critically dense site for leatherbacks, but take special care of the other species who try to navigate amidst those leatherbacks. So we have a special project where we collect the eggs of the greens and hawksbills, incubate them in a hatchery, and release them as soon as they emerge to ensure that the leatherbacks don't destroy the nest when they come ashore to lay their eggs.
My name is Kevin Mohammed. I live in Grande Riviere. I am a member of the Grande Riviere Nature Tour Guide Association. So what we do is we make the nesting site safe for the animals. So we keep litter off the beach in the form of garbage. We keep debris off the beach that comes in as drift in the form of logs and stick and whatever it may be. Grande Riviere has a big river, and when it rains hard, the amount of litter in the form of branches and sticks and, well, we can imagine what's up a river that's natural, that covers this nesting site, so that also has to be removed so that animals can safely nest. The females come in and lay, which is obviously the beginning of this whole process. They excavate a chamber, an egg chamber, that's usually about 85 to 100 centimeters deep. So when we talk about human traffic on the beach, humans walking on this beach cannot do anything to a nest. Right? They're almost a meter buried below the level of the sand. So that nest, by the sheer depth of the nest, the clutch of eggs, that's safe. So the animal digs this wonderful deep clutch, deep hole, deposits eggs in this wonderful little bulb she creates on the bottom. So it's like a long tube, and there's an actual bulb. There is a very specific gas exchange that's required, because into that nesting chamber, anywhere from 80 to 120 eggs will be deposited. Embryonic development is occurring in every egg, and for an embryo, for cell division to occur, you need oxygen. Right? You can't grow anything on the planet Earth without oxygen. So the reason that leatherbacks use this beach is because at depths up to 1 meter, we have an air exchange, a gas exchange. That's a critical criteria here. If 100 turtles hatch in that egg chamber, there has to be enough gas exchange to support the life of 100 animals. Right, and that's what this beach has. That's why leatherbacks nest here. It's not because they like Grande Riviere. There's reasons that they are here, and the main reason is the coarse texture of our sands. They start digging as a group. It's called poto cooperation. One turtle will never make its way to the surface on its own. A clutch of animals, all the animals that hatch and are healthy, will dig together to emerge together. Anybody who's weak, tired, birth defects, deformation, they will actually they won't make it to the surface. So the survival of the fittest for reptiles that are buried in sand, and that's all of them, they actually eliminate everybody who's weak or ill before they even emerge in the sand for us to see them. The animals we see usually take between 4 to 6 days to dig their way out of that nest. While they're digging, they're burning energy, they require oxygen, and they absorb all the oxygen in the environment. So that oxygen is absorbed by the animals. They stop moving because that's it, oxygen deprivation has begun, and they wait for a gas exchange. So slowly the oxygen filters through the sand, they get rejuvenated and they start digging again and then stop. So that process goes very slow. They get out into the ocean, they orient themselves to the oncoming waves because they know that's out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and they swim into the oncoming waves and go as far offshore as possible. So we never see hatchlings in coastal environments because they don't live here. So we see value in hatchlings. Trinidad needs to see the value in our hatchling populations that emerge, because that is the net benefit of a nesting site, is a baby sea turtle.
It's difficult to convince people that this thing is in crisis. We have been fortunate to be positioned as a community in a village where there's a beach that leatherbacks use abundantly. Therefore, it is difficult to convince a villager that these turtles that nest here in the hundreds are in fact critically endangered in the wild. So we had to try to convince a village that these nesting turtles that you take for granted globally are facing extinction. And our beach in Grande is a critical site for the survival of this endangered ancient species. People come to see the animals. They come to witness the phenomenon. They come to be part of an ancient experience. So the turtles are protected by one aspect of the community, and there's another segment of the community who provides services to the people who come to witness the phenomenon. People need to understand that we are fortunate to be given an opportunity to be part of a global initiative where we are managing one of the world's most ancient sea creatures. They are the dinosaurs of the ocean, and they are utilizing our backyard as a place to perpetuate their species. You have to firstly understand this is not an income generating project of any magnitude. It's a community driven voluntary initiative whose only income is from the tours that we generate. So if nobody comes to do a tour, we have no monies to generate, but we have to conserve the site. So you have to understand that. If you haven't been to Grande, you haven't witnessed the phenomenon that is sea turtles. Grande is the mecca of sea turtles.